Let me get this straight. You've seen those dudes and dudettes tear up the muddy trails. The super tramps traversing the land one sick camping spot at a time. The dirtbags and wheelers paving the way to lands unknown. Today we're leaving the streets, putting on our mud boots, because I'm breaking down the top 10 under 10 badass 4x4s, bitchin' overlanders, and down and dirty home on wheels. I'm Justin T. Cooper. Let's get this party started.
Number 10, Land Rover Discovery 2.
1998 to 2004 saw the rise to one of the most beloved utility vehicles on this list. The Land Rover Disco 2 is a capable car with a downright bumpy past, but that makes this legend quite a steal. It's a luxury off-roader that can take you to point A all the way to point Z. One of my favorites looking on the list, from that boxy exterior to the safari windows in the back. I mean, this thing is a beaut. It is a winner. Land Rover claims that over 720 changes were made from the Gen 1 to the Gen 2 Disco 2s. Most noticeably would be the size. While the departure angles took a turn for the worse, the added cargo space was gladly appreciated. This also means that when you're off on the trails and back to the norms of life, you have enough room for a family of 7, part of a football team, and an entire pack of cute puppies.
Number 9, Ford Excursion.
This behemoth is without a doubt the largest entry in this list. This vehicle is not for the faintest of hearts, but for the lover of cargo space. It shared the platform with the F-250 8-foot bed. This monstrosity came with Dana 50 front axles and off-road gearing. Under the hood, the most common engines were the 5.4-liter V8, 6.8-liter V10, and 2 diesel options for a little bit more torques. This, by no means, is the take-me-anywhere-do-anything vehicle, but I understand not everyone wants to carve the names at the top of mountains. From 2000 to 2005, this 4x4 has enough space for you, your parents, your neighbors, all the dogs on the blocks. It is the command center of trucks, and for that, I have to add it to this list. For under $5K, you can find many options, and with that, you can put on lights, a roof rack, a tent, hook up a winch. It is a little bit more budget-friendly, but it will still take you to many places most won't venture. Just stay away from tight trails, bring a couple jerry cans, and you'll be able to hit the mud.
Number 8, Mitsubishi Montero.
The Montero, the Pajero, the Shogun, the badging might have changed, but the car stayed the same. Mitsubishi is a namesake in rally racing, and with podiums under their belt, they put their knowledge into this little reliable dust bunny. Like the infamous Land Cruiser, this thing tore up the Dakar Rally and put its name in the Guinness books. The Montero won the rally 5 times in its 3rd generation. From its inception, habra, this thing was meant to embarrass other cars in its class. The Gen 2 and Gen 3 hit more of a sweet spot. The Gen 2 had its run from 1991 to 1999, had more ground clearance than its predecessor, but the Gen 3, which started at 2000, offers a more advanced 4x4 system and chassis rigidity. The gas tank was also lifted up into the vehicle to add ground clearance. While it is underpowered, this car hits a price point that is hard to beat. The Gen 1 can be found for under $2,000, while the Gen 3 can be found for under $5,000, which makes this a steal.
Number 7, Land Cruiser 100 series.
Land Cruiser is Toyota's longest running nameplate. Used from war to grocery getting, its history is long and rich. Its longest and richest is the Model 60, which marked Toyota's transition into a more domesticated market. Fetching a premium nowadays, every dirt connoisseur has had a wet dream about one of these. I mean, I have, no lies. But the Model 100 brought that badassery and luxurious taste to a whole new level. Toyota entered stock Land Cruisers into the Dakar Rally on numerous occasions. You might understand this rally as being one of the most grueling races in history. If not, you should look it up because the videos are awesome. But this Land Cruiser 100 won in 2001, and to blow the lid right off this kettle, won again in 2005. This makes Model 100 one serious dirt devil. With such a pedigree, the United Nations use this as their vehicle of choice. What I'm telling you is this monster drives like a cloud of comfort over any terrain you might want to. Its 4.7-liter engine has enough gumption to cross the cascading mountains of your choice, While a prime example might cost the top of the spectrum, you'll be getting yourself a piece of history that you can take to any undisclosed location. This thing is magnificent.
Number 6, Jeep YJ or TJ.
No list of off-road and overlanding vehicles will be taken seriously without at least one Jeep. I mean, seriously, look at this thing. It is one of the most recognizable vehicles ever created, and it's designed to go anywhere and do anything. This dinosaur tour car can be seen running away from T-Rexes to cresting the toughest of hills. My first car, this baby right here, has the notorious 4-liter inline 6. These 4-liter engines are next to impossible to kill. The biggest change to the TJ was in the form of the Rubicon. These are hard to find at the $10,000 price level, but every once in a while, someone gets a golden egg. The Rubicon has Dana 44 axles and 31-inch tires. Whether it's an 86 or 2006, every Jeep will get you where you need to go. This thing is insane. But lack of cargo space is what makes it number 6 on this list.
Number 5, 3rd or 4th gen 4Runners.
Birthed from an unlikely partnership from Toyota and Winnebago, codenamed the Toyota Trekker, the unlikely success made Toyota rethink this market. In 1984, they introduced the Gen 1. While the Gen 1 and Gen 2 are great, they don't have the space of their Gen 3 and Gen 4. Newer models mix rugged durability and functionality with a more luxurious feeling. With auto leveling, height adjustment, and skid plates, this badass SUV was meant to take the family all the way to the farthest reaches of mankind and back. This car will make sure that you can get over the steepity steep passes.
Easy.
This is all for a price far below the $10,000 ceiling. This makes the 4Runner a viable option in any overlanding party.
Number 4, Lexus GX470.
Lately, this car's been getting a lot of notoriety, so the used prices have started to rise. But the Lexus GX470 is the fancy pants version of the number 7 on this list, the Land Cruiser. This thing has the guts of the Cruiser, but the delicate features of Toyota's mommy, Lexus. This Mamma Jamma has a 4.7-liter V8, putting out more power than the Land Cruiser to get you out of the hardest of situations. Secret weapon of the 470 was the price. This was not your do-everything car like everything else on the list. This was a street queen, and as such, the vehicle maintenance is far better than your average Canyon Cruiser. This car still has permanent 4x4. It is the honey badger on this list. It's kind of cute, but it will rip the face off a lion. This grocery getter packs a wallop and deserves every ounce of mud you throw at it.
Number 3, Toyota Tacoma, Gen 1 or Gen 2.
No off-road list would be complete without one bad boy with a bed. Tacoma, the Mighty Mouse. This will get you where you want to go. It is almost impossible to kill like the Jeep. It's got a locking rear diff and beef suspension. This truck came out of the factory to do one thing and one thing only, and that was to dominate. There's no going wrong with any Tacoma you find as long as it's 4-wheel drive. Though the resale value of these buttes are quite high, the reliability of Toyota means that these things age like a fine wine. While Gen 2 had more power and all the reliability, it did become the most popular compact truck, meaning more parts. So, same as the 4Runner, this car was meant to be busted and abused. Just love it every once in a while, take it out on a date, and it'll just keep running. This thing is great, but to do true camping, you're gonna have to put a shell on the back, so the price does increase.
Number 2, Nissan Xterra.
Priced far below all the other cars in its class, under 10 grand, you can choose almost any under the sun, meaning you can get a much newer car with many less miles than most of the cars on this list. While the aftermarket is less than things like the Wrangler, the Xterra packs goodies in every compartment. The Xterra is easy and cheap to maintain. It also offers more space than competitors like the Cherokee. If you could find a Pro 4X or any off-road trims, you get more power than the 4Runner, locking diffs, skid plates, good approach, good departure angles, off-road lights, hill descent control, and a heavy-duty roof rack. And all of this is still for under 10 grand stock. This makes it just ready to start your camping trip for the moment that you get it. Not to mention, you can get it in a manual. I mean, seriously, I found a 2011 Pro 4X with less than 150,000 miles and leather seats in budget. You won't be winning any beauty pageants with this car, but where showers aren't available, no one's gonna care. The Pro 4X or any Xterra is a great choice.
Number 1. Jeep Cherokee XJ.
Champion of cruising through creeks and crushing canyon curves, this leader of caravans gained colossal clout as one of Overlanding's best. Produced from 1984 to 2001, and at almost 3 million cars produced, the XJ has parts that are reasonable and an aftermarket scene that is abundant, making it easily one of the most customizable cars on this list. Comparatively lightweight and with great torque from the legendary 4-liter right here, after 1987, not before. The Cherokee keeps Jeep's features like the solid front axle setup and a legit low-range transfer case. Even with its unibody design, this rugged badass can crush anything you have in mind for it. Its timeless look can be seen far and wide, and it is a true warrior of the woods. Bigger than the Wrangler, it may have more issues climbing through the tight turns. You do get the cargo space, which is the trade-off that we all are looking for. But the hard talk starts now. Any car you own can be used for camping fun. Sure, you might not be able to ascend into the clouds or cruise through the muddy woods. The spirit of overlanding is getting into the unknown and exploring the world. Sure, these are all gems and reasonable cars to be used on the daily as well as on those extraordinary days. Here on Destination Daily, that's exactly what we're about, turning everyday adventures into lifetime memories. Take that plunge and enjoy your next year. That's what life's all about.